Primary challenge is to take this small moon, and if you want to redraw it and draw a different type of moon in there, you can. But if you're in that moon, you want to be able to create 8 different copies of that moon in which you are doing different phases of the moon. Each time it does an orbit, you want it to be in a different phase. All of you are familiar with the 8 phases of the moon: the new moon, the waxing crescent, the first quarter. I know it looks like a half, doesn't it? But it's actually called the first quarter. The waxing gibbous, the full moon, the waning gibbous, the third quarter phase, the waning crescent phase, and back to the new moon. Let's look at some possibilities for editing this moon. The first one is to take the moon that's already drawn, and then we can make duplicates. This tool here will duplicate a sprite. We want 8 copies. Keep going 8 times. And then for each copy, we'll make it into a different moon. So let's zoom into this canvas. And one of the ways to make it a new moon is we can just take a gray addition to this moon and put it right over top. And there we've got our new moon. We can erase around it if we want to erase around it. And we can get our waxing crescent. Got a little bit of edge there. And you can do the same type of thing to create the quarter moon. Instead of a circle, we'll draw a square. We'll have it filled in. Make it over half and drop it down. There we've got our first quarter moon. And keep going like that. That's one way to make it. The other way to make it is to take a look at the image. So what I'm using on my computer is something called the snipping tool. I click on the snipping tool, create new, and here's my waxing gibbous moon, and I'll make a copy of it. And I'll save it to the computer, to the picture bank. In pictures, I'll name it waxing gibbous, and I can upload that into Scratch now that I've saved it to my computer. So let's open up here for our next sprite, and we'll go down to where it says waxing gibbous. And we'll shrink that down so that it's smaller. Here's our shrink sprite. And we can erase around the edges. Oops, too big. We can erase around the edges. There we have our waxing gibbous. So there are different ways that you can go in. Boy, that's terrible, isn't it? I'm sure you could do a better job. All right, so there are different ways that you can go in and you can edit 8 different moons to be the different stages of the moon. The last piece that you want to add is you need to program it. And so what happens is each time it goes through its sequence. I clicked on scripts up here, and this tells us it's moving to a different place each time, hiding and showing. And we're going to go in here and we're going to add one more command, which we find under looks, and it'll say next costume. And as long as we created our costumes in order, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. But it's changing its costume in the wrong place. So you're going to have to figure out where in the programming it changes to the next phase, and you want it to change right as it's starting its orbital path. So take a look at your program, and let's move next costume to when it starts. Put your costumes in order, create your costumes however you're going to create them, whether you import a picture or you draw it yourself, and describe the 8 phases of the moon. So good luck.